You're listening to the Ask Drone U podcast. You ask, we answer your drone questions. Whether you're here to turn your passion into profit or you simply fly for fun, we're a community of learners and teachers who aspire to achieve greatness. We are
Drone U.
Hey everyone, welcome to another awesome episode of Ask Drone U. You've reached the love line, and my name is Paul.
Oh, no, you haven't. This is simply Ask Drone U, and this is episode number 480. But we are glad that you're hanging out with us. We are glad that you're listening. We are glad that you're sending in your questions. Please keep getting them in. Appreciate it. You guys make this show go.
And would you do me a favor, please? I'm asking you, take 30 seconds of your time. And wherever you download podcasts, whether it's Overcast, iTunes, the podcast app, Google Play, wherever it is, please leave us a review. It would be really great.
Yes.
I really, really would appreciate that. It helps other people find the podcast. And if you've thought that this podcast has ever been interesting, valuable, or informative, chances are someone else wants to hear it too. So please help us progress the industry through education and get the word out, because without you, we can't really do it. So thank you for everyone who has already, and please, please, please take a second to do this. We really appreciate it. Anyway, Rob.
Yeah, no, just to tack onto that just a little bit, we actually read and pay attention to those, be it things we need to do better or even things that you like, because then we can do more of that. So it's all very, very helpful information.
I've been seeing so many messages about you.
Oh, boy.
No. About the service you provide to people.
Yeah.
I mean, like, guys, Rob really reads every single email. I don't know how he does it. I have trouble reading 50 emails in a day, if that. So I don't know how you do it. I think it's a different type of mindset. Okay. That answers that question. So I just got shut down.
No, it's important. We really, really care, and we want this to be a great community for everybody, and the only way to do that is to know how they're being affected by it,
True.
how it's helping them, how it's not helping them, what they need, what they want. We can't always give everybody what they want, but we certainly try, and we do when we can.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I think it's amazing. People are loving the service, Rob. People are saying, like, just how incredible you are, and listening to them and hearing them and being flexible. And we run this business how we believe every business should be run, which is the utmost service. I've had to learn time and time again to be humble and shut my mouth and work with people. And it always works out better that way. And it's a hard lesson to learn, but it's one I learned from you. And then I listened to the book Disney University, and it was just like...
Oh, there's all kinds of great resources out there.
Yeah, so...
Learn how to do it better.
And it's funny, too, because we live in a time where when I grew up, our parents told millennials, right? I'm sure you guys have heard this. You can do anything. But what they didn't tell us, you got to work really, really hard for it. And it's not easy, and you can't be a big, giant whiner. Okay?
That's right.
And we live in a time now where if someone says you can be whatever you want, as long as you have enough drive, as long as you have enough grit, like what Angela Duckworth calls it, you truly can learn to be the best person you can and grow revenue to whatever degree you want to, because your mind has set a filter on what you can make. I remember getting my first $10,000 check, and I was like, oh my God, there's $10,000.
That's real.
Oh, wow.
Better get to the bank quick before it disappears.
And then I remember my first $60,000 check.
Wow.
And then I remember my first like $25,000 check. And it was just like, is this real? It is real. Like, people value what I'm doing for them.
And that doesn't mean it will be easy. And so that's part of the hard work and the perseverance is when roadblocks do come up, you got to just break through them.
Yep. And
or
right
if it's
now,
smarter,
I'm going to be honest.
around them.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I'm dealing with a roadblock right now. I was up really late working, and this is the second or third podcast we've recorded this morning, and it's taken me many takes to get my intros right and everything, more so than normal. And it's hard. It is hard sometimes to wake up and get your ass out of bed and say, I'm going to do this. You've got to motivate yourself. You've got to mentally intrigue yourself. And it's difficult. But what I have kind of learned as being an entrepreneur is those who have the most power have the most responsibility. And I truly mean that.
Yeah, and I think that the vast majority of people would agree that working your tail off, roadblocks, working long hours, struggling to get the business going, that little bit of success is still better than the cubicle.
Oh, man.
Or even the nice office with a window if you don't love what you're doing.
Let me ask you this, Rob. Let's say you're a experienced drone pilot, and you are struggling.
We're pretending now.
We're pretending that you have a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, I'm kidding. This is your 9 to 5. That being said,
My 9 to 12.
yeah, literally 9 to 9 to 9. Here's my question, and this is my question for all of you listening out there. Would you rather sit in a nice, cozy, fancy office with leather chairs, butt warmers, someone, an assistant who does whatever you want, right? In a nice office, you got a great view of the city. Or would you rather be traveling around, meeting new people, working for different types of clients, expanding your horizons, learning about new cultures, taking adventures in places you've never been before, experiencing a whole new life, living outside, getting fresh, clean air every day, not the recycled crap we breathe in. You get to eat what you want because you're not totally crunched on time all the time. You don't have to feel stressed out, so you're not eating super crappy. You're getting natural exercise from walking around and traveling. And overall, you're releasing more endorphins. You should scientifically feel better. So why would you want to live in the 9 to 5 than rather do what you truly want to do? Are you afraid? Because I think you are. I think you're afraid. And I think that as soon as you realize that you are your own biggest obstacle, you are your own biggest enemy, once you have that breakthrough, nothing will ever get in your way ever again. Man. All right, I'm going to drop the mic. Let's move on.
I'm feeling good. You actually just set up our question really, really well. And so I'm going to...
That's funny because totally by accident.
Hey, it's better to be lucky than good sometimes. Here we go.
Hey guys, Aaron from Seattle here. Got a quick question about the real estate business. So I work full time. I have 1 day per week that I can shoot video, meet with clients, and then the rest of the week I would edit the video, do blog posts, social media, networking, that sort of thing after work. So my question is, how can I maximize that 1 day that I have? How can it be the most efficient? And how many shoots could I conceivably complete for clients while still maintaining a high level of quality? So, yeah, any insight would be great. Loving the podcast. Keep putting out the great content. Thanks, guys.
1 day a week. That is determination.
You know what? He's going after what you just described in your
he's hungry
intro, we'll call it.
He's down to hustle.
Yeah, I mean, you could just kind of get a sense that he's willing to do what he needs to do. He's just wanting to be smart about it. And so he's sending in the question, what should I focus on? What should I not worry about at this point? Those kinds of questions, they're good ones. And so take it away.
I'm sorry. This one, this may be really scatterbrained because I'm just like, my mind's on fire right now because there are so many variables to that question. I'm sure a lot of you two are listening to this being like, well, how is he going to answer this one? I'm thinking the same thing.
Simplify it, keep it simple.
Okay.
You've got 1 day. Let's just put...
I was just going to say, let's just put the foundation out there, right?
Yeah.
It's 1 day. Mm-hmm. We're going to focus on one type of job.
Which he did, real estate.
There are so many variables.
Of course.
Okay, so let's just name a few.
Narrow those down.
Yes, let's just name a few variables. I like how you're using your hands here. I feel like I'm in Talladega Nights. Anyway, I really don't know what to do with my hands. Anyway, so what are the variables? Weather, temperature, distance from job to job, obstacles, airspace, the time it takes him to actually get up and get down.
Number of batteries.
Does he have to charge? How many? Yeah, gosh, the number of batteries is
So
really
what we
limiting.
need to do is we need to say, okay, we're going to assume it's flyable weather. Okay?
Yeah.
We're going to assume that he's working in a community that he doesn't have to travel 60 miles.
Let's say 10 miles by 10 miles.
10 miles by 10 miles. So he's working and he's in Albuquerque.
Then we're like one of the largest geographical cities in the country, Rob.
We are?
Yes. Dude, where I grew up in Alexandria, our population is, I think, 10 times Albuquerque, and we're in like 4 square miles, 5 square miles.
Nonetheless, you could get from Tramway and Central to the west side in 30 minutes. So it's
On a
not
good
that
day.
big of a deal. Depends on the time of day.
Let me put it to you this way. This is the first city I've ever lived in that you can drive an hour and still be in the same city.
We're getting off track.
Anyway, we are. Okay.
All right. So
lots of variables.
Let's just say he can work. He can get work done.
Yes. Well, I'm glad he can work. I'm kidding. Okay, so we're going to take another few variables. We're going to take the human element out of this to try to answer this question. Let's say that he is able to get up and down every single time in under 5 minutes. Okay. Now, most people are like, oh, I can always get under 5 minutes. You'll realize when you actually time people, especially in trainings, people take 10, 15 minutes just to get ready. And I'll be honest with you, when you learn to get up and down in 90 seconds, that's when you're a good pilot. Anyway, okay, so we're going to say 5 minutes that it takes him to get his stuff out, take off, and it's going to take him 5 or so minutes to land and put all of his stuff back in the car, okay? But before we talk about the type of jobs that he's going to be doing and how many he can do them, I just want to take a quick break and say special thank you to one of our sponsors, Video Blocks. Because if you're doing real estate videos, chances are you're going to need some footage of the area and location to make really cool videos. I mean, like if you're doing a $5 million home, you're going to want those nice sliding shots across a bush to reveal the city skyline or something creative and unique.
Some
whatever.
good music, obviously.
Good music is definitely important. Copyright free. You have to have copyright free music to really post anything and make money on YouTube. So you've got to have that. And if you don't have that, you really need to go to videoblocks.com/drone 2016. Why? Because if you're making videos and you want an unlimited stock of video, you've got to go to videoblocks.com because if you go there, you're going to save $100 on a subscription. It's an annual subscription. Very cool thing, I think.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest with you, I can't wait to see what people put together with Video Blocks because you can sell footage yourself. You can upload footage. You can get footage. It's really cool. All the motion graphics, all the video clips, the segues, the transitions. It's from all over the world. You've got to check it out. Videoblocks.com/drone 2016. All right, let's get back into it. So let's just say that he does the drone-based Panos, right? We're not going to do regular real estate because regular real estate, if you're doing a package where you're shooting photos, you're doing video, it's going to take you 2 hours by yourself at a minimum to do it yourself.
Well,
for each house.
Yeah, and the other thing with that is that you need to set up a time, preferably prior to what?
Pen.
Preferably prior to going out there where you're doing a walkthrough with a realtor, making sure you understand what they want, what they need. And so there's some time involved in doing that, although you could do that on the same day as the shoot. But no, I mean, I think doing the Panos through drone base is one great way to get out there and kind of get started, get your feet wet, get an understanding of how to fly a house. Of course, you're not going to get the interior stuff doing those kinds of things, but it's a good way to get started.
It is a very good way to get started. And, you know, the reason I'm kind of quiet right now is because something just hit my mind. Something that was just like, ping, ping, what about this? So here's my thought, right? With the drone revolution, the amount of money you can get in real estate has gone down significantly. That being said, you know, most people are doing a video for $500. Okay, so it takes 2 hours, let's say, to shoot the video, and let's say it takes 2 hours to upload, edit, and finalize the video. Some people can delegate it out and get it done in 30 minutes. Some people can't. But let's just say that you're a one-man show. Okay, so it takes you 4 hours. So you can, at most, do 2 houses a day. Let's say that you even have the volume to do 10 houses in a week, okay? All right, so if we're getting $500 a house, how much are we making, Rob?
$5,000 if you're doing 10.
That's right. Now, how many Panos do I have to do to make the same income? Now, here's a caveat, guys, because you may be thinking, wow, you got to do a lot of Pano missions with drone base to do that. But I question whether you would ever have the volume of 10 houses per week. Most people, it's not. Most people, it's like 1 or 2. You know, people like Stephen Miller in Phoenix, Arizona, he's doing like, I think 10 a week and maybe 5 a week on average.
Which shows what's possible if you approach it the way he's approached it.
Oh, yeah. And he's making good money. So let's take, now I'm saying that we can do 6 panos per day, encompassing travel, encompassing upload, encompassing finalization. So this isn't just taking it. Let's say it takes 20 minutes to actually take the pano. Okay. And we can do, let's say, at most 2 per hour.
Okay.
Because people are like, oh, well, if you do 20 minutes, then you can do 3 per hour. Well, what about the drive time in between? What about takedown time?
Downloading time, all that stuff.
So I'm saying that we can do 6 panos per day. Okay. So 6 panos per day times $25 times 5 days a week. That's $750.
Okay.
All right. So you've got to do a lot of work. But what if now this is something that was brought up to me by Jason when I was out with him last night working, and he goes, well, wait a minute, didn't you say that there were about 180 or so jobs from drone base in your area? He's like, how many houses could you fly in one neighborhood without moving positions?
Yeah.
And it was like, ding, 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 ding. Oh, good idea. So then I'm like, okay, maybe it doesn't take 20 minutes. So then I looked at the area around Drone U, and there's even more now. And I could fly 10 missions, 10 panos on probably 2 batteries, which means I'm doing 10 now in an hour with upload and all that, right? So if I can do 10 an hour and I do it for 6 hours a day, because let's be honest, you're an entrepreneur and you like to take your lunch break. So if I do 10 an hour, that means I'm doing 60 total. Now I'm making $1,500 a day.
Of course, you don't get paid on all those. You have to have some factor. It's kind of like an uncollectible receivable.
Well, you say you don't get paid on them. You do get paid on them, but the way that the system works is that it's this weird relationship that they're doing with Keller Williams, or Zillow, whoever it is, where they're saying, hey, we can do these panos. If you like the pano, you've got to pay for the pano, and then you can use it in your marketing. And then you have a drone image, like boom.
Right, but you might fly 10 of them, but they only realize funding for 6 of them.
Yeah, true.
So that's a part of the equation anyways.
So then let's take that same proportion and equate it to our $1,500 a day. Now we're at $1,000 a day. So even though if we had the volume to do 10 houses at $500 a day in the most optimum conditions, we could make the same amount of money just doing drone-based panos.
10 a week.
10 houses, 10 big $500 houses a week.
Right.
Yes. Now, most people aren't going to do that. They're probably going to get 5 tops. So now we're at 2,500. So if you can do a lot of drone-based panos in the most optimum conditions, you can actually make more money than doing traditional real estate.
Just in terms of, the thing about the panos is they're there and waiting for you. You go online, you see where they're at. You can go there and you can do what you're talking about. The other, where you're working with realtors, you're going to have some legwork, obviously, and you're going to have to go out and get those realtors. It's just different models, and I think both are viable, both are valid. Just kind of depends on what you want to do. Somebody like Steven, who's really good with people, clearly.
Yeah.
He's just out there talking to realtors, and that is what he should be doing. He shouldn't be spending his time doing panos because he's so good on the other side.
True, and he does full packages, so he makes a lot more than $500 a house.
Yeah, so anyways, but for somebody who's just got one day like Aaron, this might be a great way to get started and just kind of learn how to fly, what to look for, evaluate the flying that you've done, evaluate the videos, see what you do different next time, and start getting better that way. So that might be a good way to spend the day for quite a while.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of things that he can do to spend his day, but I think the best thing is that he can do, and I think maybe the most practical information of this podcast is time block and be so critical. Like if you're making your schedule, time block, like, okay, I've got one day this week, and you're filling in your calendar the whole week of things that you want to accomplish, those things that are priority, the things that you want to do. And for me, I would set it up so that like I worked out in the morning, got every blood going, hardcore, like super energized. Then I would hash out as much work as possible, call a few potential clients around lunchtime, people to seem to be a little bit more friendly around lunch. Don't wait until the afternoon to make cold calls.
Especially not on Friday.
Yes, but do you know why you should wait until the afternoon to make a cold call?
Well, you should not.
You know why you should not make a cold call in the afternoon?
Why?
Because people in the morning are much more open to ideas. They're not...
They haven't been hit in the face with the day,
Yeah,
basically.
I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But there's actually research out that shows this.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's fascinating. What you do, how you time block, prioritize your day on optimizing what you can get done. What I mean by optimizing is just creating the most efficient processes possible to increase your margins, but also create that business. So with this whole drone-based doing macro volume, lots of panos, that's kind of that optimizing your time to get as much in as possible. But a guy like me, I'm focused on doing the bigger projects with a little bit of creative freedom that pay a lot more, and I can work with someone who respects my opinion. I don't like to work with realtors because they're narcissistic, egotistical, and only 20% of all realtors actually profit. So a lot of them are so all over the place. They're not making money, and they just kind of push that off on you. And no offense, but I'm not gonna bow down to that level. So
there are some, just like any industry, Paul. There are good ones, and there are those that are harder to work with.
They're true, but also the other side of that coin is what it did to humble me to work for those people and learn to shut my mouth and be like, all right, I need to figure out how to tell this person nicely that you're ignorant. You don't know what you're talking about. Here's why this is providing you value and why it's important. So it was a humbling experience for me. I think it's good. No. I think it's good for anyone who is starting their own business, because I think a lot of people don't quantify the difficulty of running your own business until it's too late.
Yeah.
So
true. I don't know, Aaron. It's a little bit challenging to answer. It's going to be a little different for everybody. Like we said in the beginning, there's a lot of variables.
I was joking about literally writing down all the variables on this whiteboard over here, and then showing an algorithm of how difficult it would be to answer that question.
Yeah, I think Paul probably hit the nail on the head with the word time blocking, and it's easier said than done.
Way easier said than done.
It takes tremendous discipline, because there's a million different things, especially in our world today, that can detract you from what you're supposed to be doing.
Like Facebook?
Yeah, like Facebook. Dang it. So you got to figure out what you're going to work on and then really stick to that. But, some of those things that you can do during the day that you have off and that you have available to yourself is, of course, be calling people. And I think just to directly answer your question, if you're going to go for flying real estate, I would say probably a couple of them a day is about all you can reasonably expect to fit in.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think that's reasonable to expect that you could fit 2 in a day on a Friday or whatever the day off you have is. So anyways, hope that's helpful. And again, guys, if you have a question, go to askdroneu.com. Get in for the contest. We have about 20 more to go before we'll do another drawing.
Yay.
And give away an annual membership. That's just something I like doing, so I don't know. We'll just
something you like doing. I think it's something we all like doing.
We do all like doing it.
I think it's time for another giveaway too, but we'll see. I don't know. I've got something up my sleeve.
Ooh,
I don't know if that's going to happen, but hey, we're going to try.
Yeah, we'll see. It's fun to give stuff away.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. Again, please do me a favor and review the show or share it with someone. If you do, maybe I'll send you something. And if you want Drone U swag, you want a sticker, you want to show it off, just give us an email, support@thedroneu.com. Soon there will be an automated system where if you do want swag, you can just click a button. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for us today. My name is Paul.
I'm Rob.
This is Ask Drone U.